need a high-end designer or a lot of money to get a luxe look. Be your own interior designer.
This is Affordable Interior Design, the podcast.
Here's your host, Betsy Helmuth.
My next question, Kristin has written in, and she is writing all the way from Akron, Ohio. She writes, Betsy, I am submitting this question on behalf of my mom. She is stuck on how to decorate her fireplace mantles. I've attached a photo so you can see exactly how the fireplace is set up. It has 2 firewood boxes built in that protrude from the front. It creates a very interesting shape. The tops of the boxes are perfect squares, which also makes it kind of awkward to decorate since they're so deep. She mentioned that she would like some kind of lighting to add interest to the space, but there are no outlets nearby. I'm stumped on how to decorate these mantles without the decor looking dwarfed by the height of the fireplace. I'm thinking that taller pieces would look better, but we don't want to just fill the space with random objects. Help! What do you think would look nice in this space? So yes, let me just describe a little bit more. So this is a very grand stone fireplace with large format stones that range in color from like a gray to a beige. There's even some hints of a reddish or purplish type stone. And the stone goes all the way up to the ceiling, and it does seem like these ceilings are sort of peaked and they could be higher than normal, even though I just have one zoomed in picture. So that stone goes all the way up, but on either side of the actual fireplace opening, which has a brass screen that's attached to the stone with some glass, it kind of has those doors, right? Then you have these unusual protrusions that you were talking about, which are sort of these square protrusions that stick out, also made of stone with a stone slab surface on top, and that are housing the wood. And they are beckoning, they are calling for some kind of sculptural objet. Now, we've already got a place to store the wood in those niches that are under those deep ledges. So it really would look kind of silly to put any additional wood there. These ledges are calling for large, perfectly selected objet. You didn't want to buy objects for these that are random, but that's what this is asking for because the fireplace space is so high. Well, let me think about this. So, the thing that you have on the fireplace face right now is a wall clock that's between 2 and 3 feet in diameter and is rustic red in color and is wire. So you can clearly see, or metal, you can clearly see the stone behind it. Now, the thing that's troubling me is it's kind of not doing much. It's fading into the background and it's kind of small. It's hung, about 2 to 3 feet above the firebox. Here's my thought. I think this clock is all wrong. I think it's getting lost. I think the stone is so much more interesting than the clock. And I think the clock would look better on a simpler background where it could really sing. I think we need something really grand and oversized above this fireplace. And then we need something less grand on those ledges because those ledges are awkward and unusual and we don't want to draw tons of attention to them, but they do need something. I would replace that clock with a large vertical mirror, maybe something with an arch at the top, something that isn't squared at the top because these 2 ledges are squared, as well as the fireplace opening. So that's just a lot of either vertical or square edges, and we need something to break that up. So I would either consider a large arched mirror or a very large circular mirror, like think 4 or 5 feet in diameter, something dramatic. You could even do like a very large scale piece of art, like 4 or 5 feet square, maybe stretched on canvas, maybe quite colorful. That would really steal the show. Now, when we do this very large, dramatic moment, We then no longer want something large and dramatic on either side on these ledges because that would really be overkill. We would be gilding the lily. We would be stealing the show from this show stopping piece of art. So, my recommendation then would be to do something simpler, like pictures on picture frames. Now, we want to avoid doing anything that would just fade into the background on this stone. So, I would do something metal, choosing the metal finish that you're using throughout the space. In the kitchen, it appears to be silver. This area is open to the kitchen. It also appears to be silver because of the fireplace tools that she's got. But then you've also got this brass. So I'm feeling somewhat conflicted, and I'm wondering if she's evaluated that in her space. But I could see doing like a sort of large-ish picture frame on a stand on each ledge, and then having this beautiful arched mirror above the fireplace. And when I say large, I'm talking 5 feet high, or 4 to 5 feet. Like I said, I can't see all the way up to the ceiling, but I want you to bring the drama with this piece so we don't have to bring the drama with the objects. So it does involve her switching out this clock, but I think it's going to solve a myriad of problems. And I don't think this clock works with stuff on the ledge or stuff off the ledge. So that's my 2 cents. I hope your mom agrees with me. And Kristin, I hope you liked my idea too. A big thank you to Aton and the Embassy who wrote our theme song. A shout out to Catherine Heller who owns the podcast shop and is our editor extraordinaire. We also want to thank Ginny Sunasan and her team at the Savvy Podcast Agency for their help with our social, our YouTube channel, and so much more. We also want to thank Uploft, which is our parent company who supports this podcast. And lastly, we owe a huge debt of gratitude to you. Thank you so much for tuning in and for all your support.